racing tonight because I have an injury because I don't know how to walk in the rain. And yeah, but I've handed over the keys to my father Andrew, who's going to be racing tonight, and he's pretty pumped. He's behind the wheel at the moment, setting some laps, so he'll be looking to try and get the West 19 BMW up the pointy end. Got a bumper lineup of cars, just trying to add in all the last minute additions into the league for tonight. Should be good. Alright, so our guest drivers for tonight include 2016 Supercars champion Shane van Gisbergen, and we have former NZ V8 race winner Chelsea Herbert and Pinepack Racing's Johansson.
Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4 commentary tonight coming to you from Auckland, even though we'll be racing at Silverstone, the home of British motor racing since 1948, and tonight it is the Grand Prix circuit for Formula One. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the New Zealand BMW Race Drivers E-Series. It is round 5 as a BMW Z4 GT3 4.4 litres of V8 to blast around the famous Silverstone circuit, the home of British motor racing since 1948. That's come and gone. They did lose it for a few years, but then the negotiations went back and forward. You remember the man Bernie Eccleston, he loved to negotiate. And then Silverstone got it, then they lost it, then they got it again, and then they lost it, theoretically last year for Formula One, until the new owners, Liberty Motor Group, managed to renegotiate with Silverstone, and they've got another 5 years. And now the New Zealand BMW Race Driver E-Series gets to play on it as well. That's the joys of iRacing, though. We can pretty much go to any track, feel like, that iRacing has set up, and it should be an absolute corker, and there are a few changes this evening. One of those being no Andrew Anderson in your eardrums tonight. You see, Andrew has had to take over from the lad because the lad has had a season-ending injury, and he joins us tonight on commentary. Andrew Anderson gone, James Anderson in. Welcome along, James, and the first thing to do is tell us exactly why you are not racing.
Oh yeah, thanks Craig. It's a bit of mixed emotions being in the commentary booth this evening. I would have loved to have been out there this evening and battling up the pointy end, but no, freak accident last night walking out to my car in the wet weather, and yeah, just a simple trip and fall and landed on my butt. So yeah, it's a bit painful today, so I just thought I'd take the more cautious option of just sitting this event out. And so I got in touch with Dad during the day, said, do you want to take over the reins? And he said, why not? So yeah, give him a go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, well, some dulcet tones this time again from an Anderson, though, and he'll be able to give us some inside oil. Even maybe more than Andrew, or definitely more than Andrew, when it comes to the art of sim racing, because it is a special technique to get your brain and your body and your muscle memory all around this world of online racing. So here we are, Silverstone Circuit. We now have single qualifying. It's lone, which means randomly we'll be picking a few drivers just to follow around here. And what do they got, James? They got 2 laps for qualifying on this 5.8 kilometre circuit. Is that correct?
Yep, so qualifying will take place over a 10-minute duration, and drivers can go out at any point in the 10-minute session and go and set a lap time. So they've got 2 laps to do it, and you know what? I'm picking there'll be a few off tracks tonight. This track is really tough and really cruel with track limits, so some of the fast boys been pushing the limits early in the night in the high 202s, so be interesting to see if we can get anyone into the 201s tonight.
And you'd actually be very good, because you understand sim racing quite well, given that you are currently 3rd equal in the championship, but that is out the door because you didn't have your wets on last night. You went out with your slicks. You know sim racing. And some people have gone, oh, come on, why are you warming up? It's a game, it's a car, it's a computer. But this model is realistic, isn't it? The tyres are just like in a real race car.
Oh yeah, for sure. iRacing has to be, I think, that is the leading sim racing software out there at the moment. And you know, for guys like myself who haven't done a lot of real world experience, it's great to have a platform like this to be able to get up to grips in some sort, to see what it's all like. But yeah, definitely having talked to Andrew, my dad, a little bit about it, it's very different to real life, but there's definitely elements that are the same. But yeah, definitely hard to adjust to the sim racing as opposed to the real life stuff.
No doubt, but the fact is the modelling is brilliant. The cars are identical, the tracks are identical, and so too are the weather conditions. I mean, I've been dabbling a little bit lately in the dirt oval, and it's interesting. They get a sticky track and a dry track, and it completely changes everything about the way you drive, and it's quite cool to be able to feel that from a simulation machine. It's kind of neat. Now, we've got 3 invitation drivers tonight. We have spoken about one already, that being former commentator and V8 touring car driver Andrew Anderson, getting back behind the wheel of a V8, albeit a BMW. But we've got 2 others. And James, you guys, as the organisers of this event, you managed to secure the services of 2 pretty cool drivers. Who have we got?
Oh yeah, we're really excited to have our two wildcard drivers join us this evening. We posted about it earlier tonight. Here's one of them in the number 23 MTF Finance BMW, none other than Chelsea Herbert. So she's come from NZV8s, actually a former race winner in the NZV8s, and also from the Toyota Racing Series. Unfortunately, she had a season-ending crash as well, a bit different to mine. But no, it's great to have her in the field tonight.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, she's come from karting. She had a couple of seasons in the Sanyong Utes and then jumped straight into the tin tops with the V8 power and then had a crack at the TRS. But like you said, had that season injury when she smashed a couple of vertebrae, which is never comfortable. Now we do have another invitation driver as well.
Yes, we are very excited to have Shane van Gisbergen join us tonight. And not in his familiar Red Bull colours. He's taken on his team colours of Muzz Minion Motorsport that we've come to know and love through a few different disciplines of racing. So he's just finished his racing in the Supercars Championship this weekend gone by. So no, definitely great to have him on board.
Yeah, and he is, of course, the Supercars All-Stars E-Series champion for 2020 in their simulation racing season, and he came from way back. It was awesome to watch because the battle ended up being among the two Kiwis, himself and Scott McLaughlin, for the rights to be crowned as the Simeon Driver champion. Shane got it, and he's here with us tonight. So well done to you and Matt for getting this BMW series pumping with some star drivers. So at the moment, Shane van Gisbergen is not even registering because he is just doing a warm-up. He knows what it's all about. So we'll go back to him shortly because this name here, James, is interesting. He's a newbie to the BMW series. He's a kart racer in real time. He's a speedway driver in real time. He's jumped into this BMW eDrivers series and he's cracked a 202.9. He is the cat amongst the pigeons.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's great to have these new names popping up as the season goes on. And yeah, comfortably sitting P1 at the moment. Not sure if a 202.9 will be enough for pole. We were seeing high 202s in practice. But to be fair, you had more than one lap in the practice session. But no, definitely great to see him up the top of the timesheets, and he'll be looking to steal some points from the leading drivers.
Yeah, definitely. Sabo's on a green at the moment. We'll try and find him out on the track. There he is there. Now, Sabo has been an absolute flyer, particularly last week at Spa. It was just a cleanup, an absolute demolishing. So fast, incredible driver on the sim. He's just got this way about him. And have you managed to work out any of his secrets, James? Have you managed to score any information?
No, not of yet. But I did qualify on the front row with him at Spa at the last round, so I thought, you know what, I'll stick with him and see what he's got. And no, he blitzed it away. He's a freak behind the wheel, but no, it's definitely great. Yeah, clean sweep at Spa last round, so he'll be looking to continue that momentum in tonight's racing.
Yeah, definitely. And we go to Cullingford. Cullingford's just had
one.
a nice spin, even though he is currently on pole with a 202. He's just lost that to who else? Another one of the Minion Motorsport boys. This time it's Andrew Waite from Highland Park. And Shane van Gisbergen has just smashed out the first 201.9. So he's cracked the 201s. We thought it would happen. The 97 Muzz Minion Motorsport, Shane van Gisbergen. And right in behind is Bloomquist. Now Bloomquist has just smacked Andrew Waite down. And here comes Cockerton. Look at that. Cockerton with a 202.1. He's up for another flyer.
Oh, this is great stuff by Taylor Cockerton. It looked like Muzz Minion Motorsport would have locked out the front row, but no, Taylor Cockerton's smashed out a 202.1, so that'll sit him in second at the moment. It looks like he'll have one more go, so let's see if he's got anything to get into the 201s and knock the top spot off none other than Shane van Gisbergen.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on him here. 202.1. Timing down the bottom isn't telling us what he's doing, but I suspect he's fairly quick because he's smooth. There's been no twitching of the wheel, no sliding of the rear of the car. He's got it set up nicely. Yeah, very, very well done on the apexes. Takes the track nice and wide. Get every little bit of speed you can. Coming around to the start-finish line. We'll see what his time is. Can he beat a 202.15 2. Nothing yet.
No, so he's crossed
Sabo.
the control line of the smaller circuit. Oh, but Sabo,
Sabo, look
as
at
you
this.
mentioned, that's a great time.
That has just smashed it right out of the park. A 2:01.484. That's almost half a second ahead of Van Gisbergen. We were just talking this guy up. I hope we don't give him the commentator's curse, but there is just something about him. We'll try and let's sneak a little ride, shall we? Well, I can say one thing, he's certainly calm and relaxed on the throttle. There's no stabbing of it. He is smooth. This is wonderful stuff from Sabo. They're cleaning up with a 2:01.484. Taylor Cockerton, he has finished, ended up in third spot at 2:02.152. Cullingford has finished as well and ended up in 7th position. Okay, because, well, he needs to improve if he wants to have a shot at being in the top 5 of the championship, because this and next week are the last 2 rounds. Now, on the points table, it is Gene Rollinson leading Sam Dunstall, with Sabo in third equal with my co-commentator tonight, James, who is out. So his points will go out the window. He'll lose a lot tonight. And then Matthew Griffin will move up into 4th spot. He's on 147 with Cullingford 139. So there is not a lot in it. Let's take a look, shall we, at our results. We'll see if it's going to bring it up for us. Yes, it does. So Sabo, car number 35, a 2:01.484. Van Gisbergen, Cockerton, Bloomquist, Waite, McCutcheon, Cullingford, Hayden, Warrington, Lowndes, and Rollinson are your top 10.
Then we go back to Matthew Griffin in 11th, Sam Dunstall in 12th. Probably not where those guys want to be tonight, so look to them to punch forward as the race goes on. Then we got Nathan Clive, Cameron Freeman, Jaden Mason, and Dan Patrick there in 17th position. We go back to Chris Rivas, Matthew Giantini in 19th, and Aidan Lamont in 20th.
All right, so there's your 20, and there's a few good drivers further down in the field who will needs to be down there, but it's just the way it goes. So up front will be Sabo, Van Gisbergen, Cockerton, Bloomquist, and Andrew Waite. That is a lot of Muzz Minion Motorsport on the front area. They've stitched up the team there, and the only one getting in the way is Sabo. So if he doesn't get the good start and he gets swamped by any one of these 3, he could be in a lot of trouble, because team tactics are going to come out here, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'd be silly not to think there'd be some sort of team tactics or team briefing between Muzz Minion Motorsport before the start of this race. But
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon Van Gisbergen's going to take it to Sabo. Sabo, I think, will have enough to hold him off. But no, it's going to be a cracker of a race.
It is, and it's a wonderful circuit. We are racing the Formula One Grand Prix track. There are multiple tracks here at Silverstone, but we are going high and mighty with Formula One, and we are just getting underway now to warm ourselves up, get those tyres ready, and go green. And that is your front. Sabo, Gisbergen, Cockerton, Bloomquist, Waite, Cullingford, McCutcheon, Warrington, Lowndes, Rollinson. It's just brilliant. And, of course, having the likes of Waite, Gisbergen, and Warrington join the fray, it means that drivers like
green flag.
Cullingford, we're underway already. We've got a red and we've got a green. We'll try and see what's going on here. No, we are definitely underway, and it is Sabo who leads the pack ahead of Van Gisbergen, Cockerton and Bloomquist in behind. But look at Gizzy coming straight away. Talk about pressure under cold tyres. He's not scared to give it some, is he, James?
No, certainly making his presence known in these early few corners. Sabo's gone wide, so it looks like Van Gisbergen's going to get by, and he will. So Van Gisbergen, as easy as that, a little bit of pressure, and he's taken the lead.
Yep, and he knows how to apply pressure in race cars. He knows all about that for sure, and I'm pretty sure Sabo just flashed his lights at him. You're probably a little bit confident there, mate. So Gisbergen, Sabo, Cockerton, Bloomquist, and Waite. So expect maybe the Muzz Minion Motorsport to try and bust the move on both Sabo and Cockerton. At the moment, Van Gisbergen leading the way. Still cold tyres. They only did about quarter of a lap. Try and get some heat into them. I want to come around here in a nice pack, a nice bunch. Try and see if we can find our battle box to see who is doing what. So 0.3 of a second already. It's just starting to crack up, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly is. The front five seem to have just broken away a little bit. I think we've got Matt McCutcheon there in P6, so he's probably just falling off the train a little bit, so he'll look to try and jump back up to the front. But yeah, these guys are going hard early. It's great to see. It looks like Taylor Cockerton applying all sorts of pressure onto the back of Sabo, so not sure if Sabo has got the cold tyre confidence, as they say, in these opening few corners, but once the tyre temps come up, look for Sabo to range on the back of Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, 10 laps around here. Have you had much of a play in the Z4 on this track under the sim racing?
Oh yeah, did a little bit of pre-round practice earlier this week, and definitely takes a few laps for the tyres to get up to the optimal temperature, and then after that they're very hard to manage. So look for these guys, and I'd say probably the first half of the race is when you're going to get the most out of these tyres. But as you say, 10 laps, it's still relatively short in terms of laps, but it's such a long lap time, so really anything can happen.
Yeah, that's right. 5.8 kilometres. It is an absolutely massive circuit. And very different lines going on here between Sabo and Cockerton. And it's probably playing games as well, just making sure that they're not playing the same card each time they go around. Although, geez, I wouldn't even remember what I did 2 corners ago. Some of these drivers can remember exactly what a driver did on the same corner of the last lap. Me, I don't even know what I had for breakfast. So I'm always in awe of the way drivers can do that. So Sabo's probably going to have to start doing a few little different things so that Cockerton doesn't read him like a book. Bloomquist and Waite will definitely be doing it. We know they're going to do it. We'll jump down a few places to position number 8. This is Matthew Griffin. Now, Matthew is a real-time BMW Race Driver Series champion, and he's still coming to grips with the sim racing, but he's picking it up really fast, James. He's actually excelling really well at it.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's one of the star performers so far in this series. One of the few drivers in the series that has the real world experience, of course, being in the BMW Race Driver Series and being a former series champion. Took him a little bit to get up to speed with the E-Series and the esports iRacing gig, but no, he's certainly come on strong, and his positioning in the points table definitely reflects that.
Yeah, that's right. He is, well, 5th, but technically 4th at the moment, and doing a pretty strong job back in 8th position. If we jump further back to 15, there's Mr. Phantom Pants himself, Jack Coford. He is so funny. He just has an absolute ball out there on the track. He doesn't care. He can actually drive pretty well. He's a pilot in real life as well, so he doesn't mind the pace and the speed. He's having a good time, and directly in behind is one of 3 MTF cars, and that's Aidan Lamont. The other 2 MTFs, which are Chelsea Herbert and Joel Herbert, are a fair way back, and I've got a feeling if we try and find Chelsea on the racetrack, there she is. It looks like she's already had a shunt. Someone's given her a tap on the back of that car because it's looking a bit messy, and I think she's just starting to come to grips with this whole sim racing. From what I understand, she hasn't really delved into it at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's had too much of the sim racing experience. She's locked it up and riding the big sausage curb, as they say. So she's coming up to grips with the whole East Series racing. But if we jump back up the front, I'm looking at the timing screens, and I don't have a Sabo in 2nd place.
Okay, so Sabo ditched off, and that's the problem we have with the Sims. We can't see 100% of the track all the time, like a full-time television production studio where they've got every single camera on its own monitor. We do miss things, so we apologize for that, but Sabo, you're right, is gone. He's lost 34 spots, so we can't tell you what happened. We don't know, but he is way out of it. Now, that has moved Cockerton into the back of Shane Van Gisbergen. Now, he's got some pace here. Now, this is I guess the detail you were talking about earlier. Is Shane just holding on to his tyres? Or did he burn them a little early? Although we're only lap 3 in, he can't have burnt them already. I wonder if he's holding them and Cockerdin's just really pushing hard and he might burn his before the 10 laps are up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happened there with Sabo and whether there was any contact with Shane van Gisbergen. I'm not sure if it's contact that's slowing him or whether, as you say, he's just playing the card and just not eating into the tyres too early. You saw a lot of that in the previous round of the Supercars Championship where they were from the get-go managing tyres, so he could be doing that same sort of strategy tonight. But yeah, definitely Taylor Cockerdin's looking really strong and he's definitely sticking to Shane at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. So, and Shane's, you know, it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He'll just look in the rear vision and go, okay, I see you're a little close. All right, maybe I'll up it half a tenth. I'll go a thousandths quicker around the circuit. A little bit more throttle on that exit or on this one, a little less brake here and there, and I'll pull away again. So that's probably what he's going to do. We'll just check the pits. And there is Sabo way up on his lonesome. He is in pit lane, so he must have come in for tow and repairs. So, yeah, that's pretty grim. So we'll go back out into the front runner. It is Gisbergen, Cockerton, Bloomquist, McCutcheon, Sturrock, Griffin. Now, where is Andrew Waite down in 10th position? So Andrew has lost some spots here, and his wing is not looking right. Oh dear, nor is the back of the car.
Oh dear, all right. That is not a good looking BMW at the moment. So he's probably got amongst the few opening lap carnage. And yeah, as you say, he's lost 5 positions. So one of the Muzminian Motorsport cars is fading back. But yeah, that damage is definitely going to slow him down.
All right, well, we'll try and find a car that might have had a little bit of an issue. We go further up. Now, Chris Rivas is a name we haven't been mentioning throughout this series. Is he another one of the new drivers, James? Because he's sitting in 8th at the moment. He has gained 10 spots. That is a massive number.
Yeah, certainly. It's a good amount of positions this early in the race. And no, Chris has been with us since the start of the series, and he's currently sitting in 11th in the points table. So this will be a good result for him if he can crack the top 10. Definitely amongst the big boys that have joined tonight.
Well, definitely flying under the radar. Oh, as we speak about it, he goes off, and right in behind him, Cameron Freeman just got a little bit caught up because Rivas lost it a little bit there with too much throttle. And he started to go sideways, and Freeman thought, I'm out of here. And that's a cool graphic. I'm out of here because I don't want to get caught up in it. Went over the sausage and was lucky to keep the car on the track. We keep moving up a few spots because in 7th spot is Nathan Clive. So he's also made some good positions. 7 spots he has gained. That's really good run there from Nathan Clive. Currently sitting in 7th. Griffin is still in 6th with Casey Sturrock. Now Casey is back in 8th. He lost a few spots at Spa. Back in 8th on the championship table, 5th tonight. He has gained 8 spots in this race so far, halfway through race number 1. So that will be very handy, James, for his points in this championship.
Yeah, definitely. He's going from strength to strength every round, and he was one of the front runners in the previous round at Spa. And no, he's definitely going to capitalise on some of the drive errors that we've had. And obviously with myself being out of the points now, so he'll definitely climb up after the end of this round.
Yeah, and he's chasing down this man here, Matt McCutcheon, currently in 4th. Only moved up 2 spots, but it's still a very positive 2 spots because McCutcheon nowhere to be seen in the top 10 of the championship. So this is absolutely massive. Of course, the setback is these guys will be at the back of the grid for race number 2, depending on where they finish this one. Lap 5 of 10, Shane van Gisbergen, Taylor Cockerton and Paul Bloomquist are holding the pack well ahead. Let's go to Cockerton and see if he's managed to stay on the back of Van Gisbergen. No. And in fact, Van Gisbergen is getting very close up front to the first of the tail runners. And that is going to play a part now. I never thought I'd see anyone catch up on a 5.8 kilometre circuit. So obviously a few of those back runners have had some issues. Sabo looks like he is back out on the track, so that's good news. So how close is he, Shane van Gisbergen? Now that's Cullingford. So he's had some real issues. He has lost 27 spots, James.
Yeah, that's definitely not what he wants. So that's a bit of a shame, because he was on the rise as well. He was comfortably sitting 6th place in the drivers' standings, and he was one of the ones that would have taken advantage of all the chaos that's happened so far this evening. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it is. He has gone down a lap now. So the ones who have lost the most positions are Andrew Waite's lost 19. Gene Rollinson has lost 14 spots, so we missed that. We talked up Hayden Warrington. Well, he's lost 19 positions. That's our fault. Dan Patrick has lost 15, Cullingford 27, and Sabo 34. So there have been a few that have been hurt, but not the majority. The majority have done very well. We're still on board with Shane Van Gisbergen, but one of the drivers who has done extremely well is Patterson. Now, Patterson has gained 15 positions and is currently sitting in 19th spot, and I've just done it, haven't I?
Gone around.
Have I done? Is that my fault?
Commentator's curse.
Is that really
Silly,
my
I think
fault?
you have to go lock yourself in a room and come out at the end of this race, because anything we say, it's all going on.
Oh dear. So he gained 15 and now he's going to drop 5 straight away. My bad, he's dropped 6 spots because Andrew Waite has finally done some good and he's passed him. So Andrew went into the pits. He'd had enough of a slow car and he went in for a repair, but now there's actually a really good battle going on between these. This is actually very cool. Now there is a damaged car in front of them. That is Blair Walton by the look of it. So there have been a few cars that have knocked themselves about. Yes, Walton's car is not looking too good up there. No. So he should lose a spot pretty quickly. Patterson will get around because Patterson was doing so well. And that there shows the pace he had before I talked him up and made him lose 6 positions, of which he has gained 1 back. Let's go to the front again and check out the gap. The gap at the moment is 1.9 seconds. So did Taylor Cockerton, did he put all his eggs in the basket to try and put some early pressure on Shane and he's blowing his tyres out? Or was Shane just playing possum and going, okay, mate, I see you catching up, I better go a little bit quicker? We'll never know because they won't tell us, will they, James?
Oh yeah, no, drivers never want to give away their race tactics and race secrets. But no, definitely Van Gisbergen has got a comfortable lead out the front at the moment. And Taylor Cockerton is sitting comfortably in second as well. But Paul Bloomquist, he's in P3. So it's a good night so far for Tasmanian Motorsport. They've got 2 cars on the podium. They just be hoping that Andrew Waite can push back on with the newly repaired car and hope that he gets some more positions.
Yeah, exactly right. And now the times are really starting to stretch out. This is Matt McCutcheon back in 4th position, all on his lonesome. There is it's actually 6.5 seconds up to Bloomquist. A second and the third, 1.3 back to Sturrock. So we could end up with a chase in the last 3 laps here for the top 5 positions, because Clive just there, back in 6th position. Clive needs to gain 3.8 seconds. Now, with a 5.8 kilometre circuit, it is possible, it is doable. It only takes one little slip slide or one mistake over a ripple strip and you'll gain back a second really fast and it'll keep clocking up. So that's Nathan Clive there. He's in position number 6 and he's trying to chase down the man in front of him there. Casey Sturrock, Casey being 8th on the championship table. He'll want to hold on to his 5th position in this particular race with 2 laps remaining. I don't see any other major fights going on, although Freeman, Dunstall and Lowndes could be in for a little bit of a harassment of each other here. And here we go. Here goes Lowndes trying to play games with Dunstall. He almost got him. Is he going to do the switch? He's going to try. He's going out wide again. Will he cross over on the inside? This is the stuff we wanted, James. This is racing now.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is fantastic stuff with 2 laps to go. Everyone's still playing for keeps. Tyres are fading away. They definitely won't have the grip that they had in the opening few laps, but they're still giving it their all and putting on a great show.
Yeah, Dunstall will know too, and he has to drive it as wide as 4 cars. Really, he's going to have understeer It's going to be an absolute shocker if he tries to go into a turn too quick. It's just going to keep on going straight. So he can't do that. He's going to have to brake slightly earlier. He'll then be scared about being out-braked. So all of these different things will be going on in his head because he is the one who'll be burning up tyres. He's gone wide already, trying to keep some pace on. Now, would that have given him a track over limit there? Probably not. Might have just got away with that. Certainly created a bit of a gap. Did get some pace out of there, and Lowndes is trying to keep up with him. Not quite able to do it. He is going over ripple strips though, James. He is definitely under pressure.
Yeah, he's certainly giving it his all and using all of the track that's available to him and a little bit more. So any more track limits, I think he would have gotten a slowdown penalty, but he seems to have the car under control. I mean, look at that. He's using all the curbs, so he's definitely, I think, exploring the limits, and we'll know that if he's pushing too hard, because you'll see him slow down, and these cars behind will come on past.
Yeah, so for those of you who have just joined iRacing and wondering how that works, well, it tells you if you exceed the track limits, it forces you to do a slowdown. It tells you to, and if you don't, you'll get penalised heavily. So it makes you slow down anywhere from 0.1 to sometimes 3, 4, 5 seconds, depending on how far off the track you went. So you've just got to slow down and yield back that time. So he will be very wary of going over the curbs too much and getting a penalty from the officials and being forced to slow down, and that will allow Lowndes to get him, punch into that top 10. So Lowndes' time, he is only 0.46 behind. Only 0.46. We'll jump right up front just while we'll jump and see what's happening up the front. Well, it's a massive gap, absolutely. There's not going to be a lot happening here. 2.8 seconds back to Cockerdon, another 9.8 back to third position Bloomquist. So not a lot happening on 9, so we'll go back and keep an eye on this top 10 shootout, shall we? We've got Lowndes in the Deutsche Post Z4 trying to catch Sam Dunstall in the orange. Oh, now Dunstall's gone wide again over that track. Now, will he? I'm not sure on that piece of the circuit if that is a penalty or not, because it's not the only time he's done it, and he's not yielding, but you can tell he's twitchy. He's coming in a little bit erratic, and this is allowing Lowndes to catch up. This is good stuff, James.
Yeah, certainly is a lot of pressure being applied here by Lowndes onto the back of Sam Dunstall, and if Dunstall didn't have a slowdown penalty, he certainly slowed himself up with his momentum either way. So he's going defensive. Lowndes looks around the outside, can't get it done. Will he look for the switchback? No, can't quite get it done. Dunstall's all over it. He's aware of the pressure, and big dive down the inside by Lowndes. Gets the move done. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely perfect by the play. Went down the inside. He was seen and given the spot. Dunstall gave him clean racing. He could have shut the door, and that would have been a great argument around the water cooler later on. But at the moment, he definitely has more pace. He was just struggling to get around him. So that moves Lowndes into the top 10. And now we wait for another mistake. Here comes Dunstall trying to get it back. He knows they are on the last lap. He's going to give it a whirl. We'll just see where Shane van Gisbergen is at the moment, because he'll be very close to taking the checkered flag. Won't be too far away at all, because he is definitely leading.
But tell you what, looking back at second place, it's on. Looks like Bloomquist has closed onto the back of Taylor Cockerdon a bit in those last couple of laps, so it'll be interesting to see if anything happens with a few corners to go. No, looks like Cockerdon's just opened up a little bit more of a gap through Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, so we're not sure. He could have made a mistake, or his tyres are gone. We'll never, ever, like you say, never know, will we?
No, certainly won't, but no, these front three up the front put on a great show. They've played a few tactics, but as we come through the last couple of corners, it looks like Shane van Gisbergen is going to get the win in this race with Mazminian Motorsport. And yeah, the battle for second looks like it's slowed down a little bit. So through the last corner, Shane van Gisbergen is going to take out race 1 of the evening in the BMW Race Driver All-Stars E-Series. I just added an All-Stars. It's not even an All-Stars series.
All-Stars
but we
now.
got some stars in tonight.
Now, Cockerdon, did he make a mistake? No, who was that parked up? One of the Muzz Minion Motorsport cars is parked up on the side there. I wonder if that is Andrew Waite. I'm not sure what is going on here. These cars all over the place. A few donuts from the Giz. There we go, as expected. Let's quickly jump back to 10th. And Dunstall was not able to do anything on Lowndes as they come around for the final time. In fact, Lowndes was very close to getting Giantini, which would have been cool. Let's go up here and see who's going to cause carnage with each other, shall we? There's always someone. Yeah, see, cars going out into the kitty litter. They're going into the gravel. They're going crazy. They're doing some donuts. We'll jump back with Jack Coford, shall we? He's doing his donuts, and they're all starting to fly through. Warrington way down in 22nd. He was doing so well. He lost 14 spots in this race. He really was doing such a good job, and look at the state of that. Bags not being the crew. How's he going to explain that to the boss?
Oh yeah,
good.
if this was real world racing, he would definitely be copping a bit of flack from the team. But lucky with the iRacing system, all it takes is a button. All it hits, you just hit an escape button, and you got a new car. But definitely, yeah, if this was real world stuff, he wouldn't be in too many good shoes.
No, there'd be a bit of sorry about that, mate. Is that Cullingford? Is it? Is he going a little bit silly out there? No, I'm not sure who it is now. So the drivers look like they have all started to come through. We'll wait for our official results to turn up. They shouldn't be too far away. It was pretty good, though, wasn't it? The 5.8 kilometre circuit. In the end, Shane Van Gisbergen really did dominate, but there were a few good battles amongst there, but it's the joys of a really long circuit. You just end up with some big gaps. It's the way it goes. So the race results have finally arrived. Let's see what we have here in first place. Yep, confirming Shane Van Gisbergen, Taylor Cockerdon in second, Paul Bloomquist in third. Casey Sturrock with Nathan Clive doing a great job to hold on to fifth ahead of Chris Rivas, with Matthew Griffin, Matthew Giantini, Nicholas Lowndes, Sam Dunstall making up your top 10.
And we go back to 11th place, we have Hayden Kirk. In 12th place, we have Jack Coford. And then we go back to Taylor Oakes, Jaden Mason, Cam Cairns, Matt McCutcheon, Patterson, and Blair Walton there in 18th position. We go back to Aidan Lamont in 19th, and Jeremy Patterson there in 20th, and Andrew Anderson 23rd. Probably not where he wants to be, but
that's
he'll be up the pointy end. Yeah, he'll be up the pointy end for the reverse grid, so watch out for that.
All right, well, that's disgraceful. We'll have to bag him out in that next race. We'll see what he does in the next one. We'll follow him along because he will be near the front. So Benjamin Goebel got to 21st with Joel on 22nd. There is Andrew Anderson in 23rd, Cameron Freeman. Honeybell driver Bickley all the way back, and it keeps on going down to Warrington, Smythe, Patrick, Cullingford. Oh, dear. Not good for the points. Herbert, Andrew Waite, started in the top 5, finished in the bottom 5. With Sabo doing exactly the same thing from pole position to 34th, and Gene Rollinson, that's not good for his points, and Trent Way. And if you try and do this in your head quickly, James, you've got Gene who is leading the points, Sabo in third position on the points. This is very costly for them, isn't it? Because the person who is in second on the table, Dunstall, he's the one who is going to make everything out of this, getting 10th.
Yeah, definitely. This is not what Gene Rollinson and Sabo want for their points at the moment. But Sam Dunstall, I think, is going to be a big winner out of that one. He's going to look for him to move up the points table at the moment. Or even I think Matthew Griffin and all those boys will be looking to move up. But tell you what, this reverse grid race is going to be an absolute scorcher because we've got Gene Rollinson and Antal Rafael Sabo up the pointy end. So sure, they finished at the back in this one, but it's going to be an absolute cracker in this reverse grid.
Yeah, and people who started at or finished in the front end of this one are going to be starting at the back, and they've got to deal with any carnage. They've got to weave their way through just like a real-time race. Now, has there been a break, a warm-up, a practice, a cool-down, or whatever between races tonight, James, or are we going straight into race 2?
No, so we got a 10-minute break between races. So some drivers will use this opportunity to to have a look back at the replay of the previous race and use the restroom and all that sort of thing, and then we'll be back going in just over 7 minutes.
All right, so we will do that ourselves. We'll be right back, and a little breather here at Silverstone. We'll be back with more shortly from the BMW Race Drivers E-Series. Okay, welcome back everyone, and it's time to hit the second feature race of the evening, round 5 of New Zealand BMW Race Driver E Series from Silverstone. 5.8 kilometres of wonderful, probably the best way to describe it. It is the home of British motor racing. My name is Craig Lord, we're best friends. You can call me Sooty, and I'm joined by James Anderson, filling in tonight for his dad because James had a career almost ending accident yesterday. He went out in the rain on his slicks and ended up on his ass. Hurt his back, so he can't drive the sim tonight. Dad's taken his place, and he failed, didn't he, James? He failed miserably. He got 23rd, didn't he?
Yeah, it was always going to be a bit of a tough ask to fill in at the last minute, but he was starting further up at the grid for this one, so
Yeah,
hopefully look for him to make a few moves.
All right. Well, the way it'll work is Trent Way will lead the pack. Gene Rollinson will be in second. Sabo third. Wait fourth. Herbert, that is Chelsea, in 5. Cullingford, Patrick, Smythe, Warrington, Bickley, Driver, and Honeybell. Those are the 12.
Then we go back to Cameron Freeman there in 13th place, followed by Andrew Anderson, Joel Herbert and Benjamin Goebel, with Jeremy Patterson, Aidan Lamont, Blair, Walton, and Patterson rounding up your top 20.
McCutcheon, Cairns, Mason, and Oakes. Oakes is doing very well in Sims, but he's just struggling tonight here at Silverstone. So we are getting ourselves ready to rip. Now sticking with the leaders.
Green flag, green flag.
There we go. We are green flag. We are underway. We are racing again here at Silverstone. This is race number 2 in the BMW E-Drivers Series. Drivers E-Series. So, yeah. In fact, let's make them superstars. Right, so we'll try and see what sort of dramas are happening out back, and there are plenty of dramas going on. What is happening? There are cars going off all over the place, and it's so many cars going off all over the place. I don't even know who's who. McCutcheon was swamped. Griffin was swamped. Who else? Cameron Freeman. It's gone crazy. Shane Van Gisbergen, here he is. He's moved himself up into 19th from last because of the chaos, and he's been able to weave his way through. And we will come back to that in a second, because right up front, James, as you said, Gene Rollinson and Sabo leading the way.
Yep, I called it that these would be the hot favourites to take out race 2, and they've survived the opening lap, opening chaos, as they say. And yeah, sitting comfortably first and second, and even got the hard-charging Andrew Waite sitting there in second, and Sabo straight away with the flashing lights, trying to distract Gene, but Gene will be right up to the challenge.
Yeah, he will be. He'll be, yeah, whatever, mate. He's been there and done that. That won't faze him at all. Andrew Waite is sitting in third, with Warrington doing a better job this time. Up in fourth, and Cullingford, hopefully he can stay there in the top 5 as a minimum. We'll jump back a few spots. We'll go to 9th place, because there, amongst a really cool battle pack, is Andrew Anderson. Trent Way ahead of him. Aidan Lamont in the MTF Finance just in behind. Sean Driver in behind him. And there are positions going on. Someone's gone right off. I think it was Clive has moved around. So positions are changing. A little twitchy from Andrew Anderson, trying to go down the inside. And there's a few drivers here, James, who are just starting to make a few little silly mistakes. Further down, just here, Honeybell made a couple of mistakes.
Oh, this is an action-packed battle group here. We're only on lap 2 and they're already fighting like it's the last lap, but certainly a lot of pressure being applied to everyone in this field. As you see, I think that's Aidan Lamont has just rounded up Andrew Anderson, with Peter Honeybell going along with him. So Andrew's just getting caught in the middle of this battle pack, and he's got none other than Shane Van Gisbergen right behind him. So he'll be looking in the driver's mirrors for sure. Yep,
he will be. He'll be just questioning himself. Now, who was that who's gone whale? Is that I think that's Revis. Yes, the blue car of Revis. Now, there's Van Gisbergen all over the back of Anderson, straight down the inside. Not a problem. Whatever. Get out of the way. So he moves up into 10th spot. And just take a look at your screen, people, because this is only the second lap. Shane van Gisbergen has come from 36th place to 10th place in the second lap. Make that position number 9. The guy knows how to pedal a sim. He really does. He understands the physics. He gets it. And he's doing a great job. Now, that has moved a few back. And we'll jump back here to see what's going on. Because Dunstall, who had a fantastic fight in the last race with Lowndes, is now past Andrew Anderson, who's slotted back into 12th. He's having a fight. Now Casey Sturrock is all over the back of Andrew Anderson. So he's just slowly losing every turn. He hasn't quite dialed in the Z4, has he?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a hard ask to try and get up to speed relatively quickly, and look at that, Casey Sturrock right down the inside. So Andrew will just look to want to settle himself into a good rhythm here, but can't quite do that when he's got drivers firing left, right and centre trying to get past him on track. And as you look at that battle pack, it's all on. It's got to be at least 10 cars in this.
That's right, Bloomquist, we're heading back to him, position number 16. Cockerdon is only 0.4 of a second in front. Clive is only 0.4 of a second behind. And there goes Cockerdon, weaving and dodging to try and get around Walton. He does so, and he goes down the inside. It was a brilliant move. Walton gave him room, which was really nice to see. And that is a professional way to drive. Pick your battles and pick your fights. And there is Bloomquist. He is going to come through as well. He does the inside-outside. Another spot could be lost here. Because is that Clive coming
Andrew
through?
Anderson's gone around.
Oh, dear. Andrew.
I heard it from beside me.
Really? Did he say a few words?
Oh, I'm not sure if I can repeat what I heard on the stream.
Oh,
No, but certainly a
golden.
bit frustrated there. And he was looking pretty comfortable. He was up the pointy end and maybe a little bit of contact, and that's fired him right down into 21st position.
Let's go up the field, shall we, into position number 6 with our previous race winner, Shane van Gisbergen, who has now moved himself into 6th spot. And he is starting to close. If we look at our battle pack, he is 2.4 seconds to catch up to Bickley, because Lowndes, I think, is a lap down. Yes, he is. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers who had some major chaos in the opening stanza. Cameron Freeman, Matthew Griffin, Nicholas Lowndes, Jack Coford, Hayden Warrington. I did it again to him, didn't I? And Matt McCutcheon. They all got caught up in the melee, and they have dropped down to the rear of the field, which is what you can see there in front of you, because that is Lowndes up ahead. Shane van Gisbergen is now caught up to the back of Bickley. Bickley is officially was officially in 5th. He's now in 6th position. And Shane van Gisbergen is now going to chase down Lowndes and Griffin as the double lappies. Is that a term? A lappie, James? Is that can we use that?
Well, you've said it, so let's go with it. So,
Okay.
yeah, let's go with it.
Okay, they're lappies now. So Shane van Gisbergen, we know he's going to do it. What's happening up front, though, is Sabo is in 3rd and is all over the back of Andrew Waite. So Waitey got in front of Sabo. We need to watch this, because this is pretty cool right now. Gene Rollinson is, well, he's enough ahead, a couple of seconds ahead of these two. So it's not a big deal for him at the moment. He's quite happy for these two to go hammer and tongs at each other, because they will just be burning out their tyres. Yes, it is a sim, but yes, the sim model is on real world racing. More that Sabo pushes, try and pass Andrew, the more he will be burning up his tyres. This is going to be quite an epic watch for a while.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Sabo, he won't be liking the vision he will have ahead. Not only does he have Andrew Waite ahead of him, but current points leader Gene Rollinson, who Sabo is trying to chase down. He's extending his points lead, and he's extending his lead on track. So Andrew Waite, he's got the pace to be there, rightfully so, but he's not in championship contention. The boys in 1st and 3rd are. So Sabo will want to get around Andrew Waite as soon as he can and try and see if what he's got to go to Gene Rollinson.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Cullingford has moved himself into 4th spot, which is really handy to try and claw back some of those valuable points he lost both last week at Spa and in the previous race here at Silverstone. Gene Rollinson still holds sway out front with Andrew Waite, as you can see there. And the Muzz Minion Motorsport, one of 3 in their team tonight, with Sabo all over the back of the white and yellow car. Cullingford back in the orange one in 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen is back in 5th. Now, Gizzy is a whole 10 seconds behind Sabo. Yes, he can still catch because these two will be doing slow lap times. Giz will be gaining maybe half a second each time. As I say that, Sabo goes down the inside because he thought Andrew might have taken it a little bit wide. He stays in the marbles. He does give it a little bit of a slide, but he manages to hold on to it and locks himself into 2nd position. Doesn't quite get the power down coming out of there because he wasn't in the right place on the racetrack, but he's managed to do a good block, a defensive move on Andrew Waite. Waitey now has to plan and attack. He is an experienced real-time race car driver. He will know what to do, even though he's probably never raced at Silverstone in real life. He knows what the game is, so now it's pressure time. And he's already had a couple of laps behind Sabo, so he knows how he drives. He's had a couple of laps in front of him. He knows what to do there. But Sabo would have used up a fair bit of his tyres to get around Waitey, and Andrew could just think about this for a little bit. Maybe sit back there and relax and wait till possibly the 8th or 9th lap. But, James, you're just as bad as them. You guys can't wait. You just got to get in front now, don't you?
No, certainly not. You want to get as many positions as you can as soon as you can, but it's definitely not as easy as that. But Sabo looks to have just got a little bit of a gap now over Andrew Waite, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got left in terms of tyre life and see if he's got anything to take to Gene Rollinson. But yeah, Gene Rollinson will be loving the battle that's happening behind him.
Yeah, well, Gene Rollinson's lap times haven't been that quick, and they haven't needed to be. He would have looked in his mirror and seen them a fair way back down the track fighting amongst themselves. Now he will see Sabo has gained that spot back. He'll be looking and realizing that he'll be closing because he will have a relative lap time on a screen somewhere. He'll know what he is doing in his sectors. Sabo just gets a little bit of a wiggle on there, so he's definitely trying to put the power down early to get the exit speed out of these turns, and that's good news really for Andrew Waite, because the more that Sabo does that, the more he burns out his tyres, and also that allows Cullingford and Van Gisbergen to come through. If we look at the time difference before, Van Gisbergen was 10 seconds behind Sabo. We'll try and see if we can get a look. He's still roughly the same. He might have gained about 1 second on him, but still not enough because we are into lap 6 of 10, and now Gizzy knows that he's got to chase down the front runners. Griffin in front of him is a lap down, so he doesn't have to worry about racing him. He's just got to get past him to try and catch up to Cullingford, who we are here with now, 4th spot, doing a pretty clean job. He doesn't have to worry about any pressure, just concentrate on doing exactly the same thing every time he hits a break point and every time he hits an apex. No stress, no fuss. That is the gap between 1, 2, and 3. It's 0.7 of a second now up to Rollinson, and 1.4 back to Waitey. So not a lot going on there in regards to Rollinson walking away. He is not walking away at all. That is not what he wanted to see Sabo catching. Let's go down a few more. Down into 7th spot, there is Bloomquist. He is part of a battle pack that is really, they're having a fight for the lower glory. They want to remain in that top 10, but they can't quite get themselves into that top 5. And Bloomquist has got 1 second. Thurrock behind, another 2.5 back to Bickley. So really, there's not going to be a huge amount of change, and there's been a come together between Driver and Bickley. I just spoke about them. The possible catch, well, it's not going to happen. They're going to lose massive here, James. Massive amount, and another touch because, well, did he come on in an unsafe position? I'm not sure he did.
No, it looks like he did the right thing and just kept over to the right-hand side of the track, but one of the MTF cars closed up seriously quick. And talking about closing up, Antal Rafael Sabo is going to go down the inside of Rollinson. Can't quite get it done. Rollinson's going to cover. Oh, it's nothing in it between these two. Sabo looks like he's got a little bit more pace, but he's just got to bide his time. Still quite a handful of laps to go, so he doesn't want to throw it away yet because just behind in third position, Andrew Waite will come and pick up the scraps if there's any left.
Yep, he'll bounce back from this if he sees these two scrapping, because it will slow down their lap times if they remain bumper to bumper. If Sabo pulls away, that's not good for Andrew Waite, because he needs these two to fight to slow them down. And so too, really do Cullingford and Van Gisbergen. Although Gizzy, he is putting in some stellar lap times, he's still too far back to make a play at lap 7 of 10. So look at Rollinson going left and right on Sabo. He's forcing Sabo to drive defensively, forcing him to try and make a mistake under brakes. He goes down the inside, just a little looks. He knows there was no chance of getting down there, but it's all about mind games now. Rollinson knows how to play them. He's done plenty of time out there. He's just got to be close enough for Sabo to put in a little bit of panic mode. He can do all the fluff moves he wants back there because he's not close enough. And if Sabo's smart enough and checking there, go, whatever, move around all you want. Nothing to do with me. You're just burning up your own time, your own tyres, and your own lap time by doing things like that. It's he's going to have to make a move now, or it'll be too late, because we are coming close to the end of this lap 7, James.
Yeah, only 3 laps to go next time round. So looks like Sabo's just got himself a little comfortable gap up front, just enough to break the slipstream of Gene Rollinson there in second. But tell you what, Andrew Waite's slowly closing up onto these guys, so don't discount him. If any of these front boys make a mistake, all it takes is a lock brake or running wide into one of the corners, Andrew Waite will definitely be there. But if we just go back a little bit more to 4th and 5th, the battle's on, because Van Gisbergen is closing up onto the back of Mike Cullingford.
Oh, there we go. So this is for position number 4. Shane doesn't have to do anything silly. He's got the 3 laps up his sleeve. Cullingford actually lets him go. He says, no, I don't need to get in this. You can do that. I'm only going to lose 1 point on the championship fight here. You can have that, because I will still get a top 5 if I can keep Cockerton away from the back of my car. And Cullingford's doing well for a car that's had a little bit of a love tap on the front. Won't be affecting the aero modelling too much. iRacing is very accurate, and it'll have a little bit of a wind tunnel effect, but nothing dramatic. So let's look at our box battle, shall we? Because Van Gisbergen here in 4th position, he was at 1 point 10 seconds behind Sabo. He's now 7.8. Getting that in 2 laps, not going to happen unless there's a major mistake up front. Andrew Waite, his team buddy, in 3rd position, is 5.5 seconds up ahead of this 5.8 kilometre circuit. Doable? Not if they keep circulating like this. Again, he's going to need a mistake, but his lap times have been pretty good. He's using every little bit of the track. Let's move up front and see how that gap is going. It's pretty clean, isn't it, James? It's going to take a mistake here for a position change.
Yeah, these front guys, there's not a lot of pressure being applied to any of them, so they just need to hold their ground. And I think we've got to the point in the race where they've used up the tyres and they don't have the pace of the cars ahead of them. So I think they're just going to settle into a bit of a rhythm for these last 2 laps and just take home the championship points. Gene Rollinson, sure, he probably would have liked to come away with the win, but he's got to think championship. He's well up ahead in the Drivers' Championship. And Sabo is in 3rd, so he'll close up a little bit. But yeah, these guys are going to play it safe for the last few laps and come home 1st, 2nd and 3rd comfortably.
Let's go back into 10th spot, shall we? Because I love gold-rimmed wheels. And this is Dan Patrick sitting in 10th. He lost 3 positions from 7th on the grid back into 10th spot. But the one in behind him has done a really good job. And there's a good fight because Taylor Oakes, has gained 13 spots to move himself into 11th. Right in behind is Nathan Clive, moved up 20 spots. 20 spots to be in position 12. And these two are going to scrap it out with Aidan Lamont in behind. But they're going to scrap it out to see who is going to take 11 and 12 in this race because they're just not close enough. Again, it will need a mistake. Clive gets down the inside and does it sideways. Taylor knows that. He just sticks around there, gets the inside back. He saw Clive do the sideways move and knew that all his momentum was gone. Didn't have to panic. But that tells us something. It tells us that Clive is ready to do it. And Aidan Lamont will be watching this eagerly with an eagle eye. Going, okay, fellas, I'm here. I'll pounce. Here goes Clive down the inside. That was a great run. High pace. But is it going to end up in a crossover, a switch? These two are having a good fight. in lap number 9 here. And there is Aidan Lamont. As I said, he'll be waiting for these two to go at it. His car is a complete mess, but it's still quick enough to try and gain this spot. This is going to be fun. Another good battle as we close out the evening here in the BMW Race Drivers E-Series.
Yeah, this is a fantastic battle for the early 10 spots, as you'd say. Looks like Taylor Oaks' car looks like it's a little bit better under brakes, and he's certainly able to apply lots of pressure, but him applying pressure onto the back of Nathan Clive has allowed Aidan Lamont to close right up and down the slipstream of this hangar straight. Have a look for Lamont. Will he pull out and have a big dive?
They are into the last lap, the front runners, so these guys won't be too far behind that as they get themselves set for 5.8 kilometres of chaos to see who's either going to make a mistake. And Aidan nearly got up the inside straight away because those two seem to do a strange line coming into that turn. That's all right. They're clean again. This is for track position 11, 12 and 13. And here comes Aidan now down the inside. He didn't have the speed. He did not have the run that he needed to make it work. So that's not quite good enough. And that has allowed Clive to run away because Oaks and Lamont now are having a fight. And there goes Clive. So Lamont trying his best to get around. He's just not quite close enough. He's taking a little bit of the ripple strip to try and close up the gap, but of course it cost him the exit speed. You can see that Taylor Oaks pulls away here very, very nicely indeed. There is no one else around them. It's 4.5 seconds back to Walton, another 7 seconds back to Giantini, who is in fact having his own. We'll quickly go have a look. Having a little fight with Andrew Anderson, who dives down the inside, under brakes, realizes that he didn't quite have enough. So he managed to slow himself down. So he's doing well, but he's trying really, really hard to gain a position and get a 15. This is for position number 15 and 16. Andrew Anderson back in that latter spot. Right, we need to jump up front and see where we are at on the racetrack. Car number 35 in position number 1. He must be very close to taking the checkered flag by now. Try and see where he is. Yep, he is getting really close to it. So he takes it right there ahead of Rollinson and Waite. So no problem with Shane Van Gisbergen back and forth. Let's jump then quickly back to that race we were having for 11-12. And it's between Lamont and Oaks. Lamont still just in behind. He doesn't seem to have enough to catch up to Oaks. He is going to try. It's going to have to be a last-ditched effort. They're coming through the last final turns now. Can Lamont force a mistake from Oaks? Taylor Oaks has to do everything he can. He's going to hold on to it. He does well. Andrew Anderson isn't quite enough to catch up. We'll go further back to Bickley. You had a few slides here and there. He's all, look at the state of that. That's disgraceful. Joel and Chelsea Herbert are going to come in 20 and 21. I'm not sure which one of them ended up having the big smash. I suspect it was one of these two because it was an MTF. It had a really good crash. They're going to be weighed down. Let's see if Andrew actually does anything silly with his car here, shall we? Let's keep an eye on him. Oh, there. Ah, look at this.
He's invading the Muzz Minion Motorsport burnout that's happening. Mike Carlingford's in there as well. He's lost his front bonnet. It's all chaos. Someone's soaring through the air. This is absolutely chaos.
Oh dear, oh dear. You can take the boys away, but you can't take the boy out of them. It's now drifting. It's a dead set fight going on. Now,
look at that.
How does that work?
And
now we've got definite redneck going on here. All right, and someone's going to try and... So this is actually quite good. Someone's going to try and destroy their car, no doubt. Andrew Anderson's lost the bonnet. I don't think he's got things under control. Andrew Waite is all out on his lonesome. There's only, in fact, 2 of them left on the track. So let's ditch all these graphics and take a look at our feature, shall we? What was our results? Well, let's have a look. Sabo taking away that win ahead of Rollinson with Andrew Wade, Shane Van Gisbergen and Mike Cullingford back in 5th. Taylor Cockett in 6th, Bloomquist 7th, Sturrock, Dunstall and Patrick in 10.
Then we go back to Nathan Clive in 11th spot, followed by Taylor Oakes, Aidan Lamont, Blair Walton, Matthew Giantini, followed by Andrew Anderson and Patterson there in the 17th position. Then we go back to Douglas Bickley, Chris Rivas and Joel Herbert rounding out your top 20.
Ahead of sister Chelsea, Jeremy Patterson. Nicholas Lowndes, not so good this time, nor Matthew Griffin. They all got caught up in that opening lap melee. Hayden Kirk in 25 with Goebel 26 and Mason 27. Driver Kofod had another shocker. We'll try and talk to him during the week. Try and get, there you go, James. There's a mission for you. Find out what happened to Fantapants and why he ended up so far down. Trent Way, Honeybell, Freeman, Warrington, McCutcheon. And I apologise to Warrington because every time I talked him up, he ended up crashing the car. McCutcheon, Smythe, and Cairns. So that is your results. That is how it ended up. That is what happened here at Silverstone in round 5 of this wonderful BMW Race Drivers E-Series. Pretty good effort from some of these drivers to claw some points back, James.
Yeah, certainly a good night all round for majority of the field. Some great racing up the front with Shane Van Gisbergen taking the win in race 1, followed by Sabo there in race 2. And you know what? This championship battle, it's still on. Gene Rollinson still leading the championship, followed by Sam Dunstall. But look for Sam Dunstall to have closed that points gap because it's only 11 points between them. And with Rollinson not scoring any points in that opening race and Sam Dunstall in the top 10, look for the gloves to come off and a big battle to unfold in our final round next week.
Yep. Yes, indeed. That's right, people. Next week, same bad time, same bad channel. We're going BMWs. Have you guys set the track and the car yet, James?
Yes, we have. So our final round will take place at the Daytona road course, and we're going to go night mode.
Oh, dear. The chicanes are hard enough as it is to see. All those turns, they're hard enough as it is. You're going to make them do it at night.
Yep, certainly. Just add a little bit of pressure to it, you know.
You're a disgrace, son. You're a disgrace. That's just pure and cruel. James Anderson, thank you very much for filling in tonight for your dad, who absolutely hashed his drive here at Silverstone. Yes, we will rag him out. Yes, we will give it to him and make him just suck it all up for the next week. And we'll see if you are good enough to be well and healthy enough to be back in the seat next week. You think you will be by then next week?
Oh yeah, I'd hope to join the grid for the last round next week, but no, we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I think you need to because your dad, he can't carry on that way. Thanks for your time tonight, James. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks a lot.
All right, James Anderson there. My name is Craig Lord. We're signing off for tonight. That was round 5 at Silverstone. I hope you enjoyed it. The BMW Race Drivers E-Series. And yes, Daytona at night next week. Same time, 8:30 p.m. July. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you again then.